and the repository layer will handle all the data. Okay. Okay, so in here you guys can see three things, three tiers at least. We have the controller layer, we have the repository layer, and we have the service layer. So same goes for the school and teacher. So I will leave you up to you guys. So you guys can create. I will create some sample user layer. You guys follow along with the other two. Okay. All right. So in order to have these three layers under one common feature or module, we need to create a special file called user module.ts. So the user module will unify these things and it will allow us to communicate within these three layers. So we have three layers. Okay, we have three layers. Within the three layers, the controller layer will handle the request. Service layer will handle the business logic. Repository layer will handle the data. Okay, but in order to communicate with each other, so this control layer should talk with the business logic layer or the service layer. The service layer should communicate with the data layer. So all these three things should be glued together in order to talk to each other. So the gluing part is done by something called a module. Okay, the module will define, okay, the service layer knows about the controller layer, control layer knows about the service layer knows about the data layer, and so on and so forth. Okay, so the gluing part happens within this module. Let's define a module. Simple. I'll do a simple trick, which is called copy and paste. Okay, rather than naming this as app module, I will name this as user module. Okay, so I have a simple module definition in here. Simply, I copy paste the user module, app module, and I have named this as a user module. So within this user module, we will define all the three layers which will be gluing together. There should be gluing happening, so we will glue those things in here. But first thing first, if I created a module, the application should know about this module, right? I have a module called user, then the application should know about this module. Otherwise, it won't know about user module. So first thing first, what I do is when I create a module, I register this in the app module. Under the app module, under import section, I will put this and I will do the import. So what it will do is, when, as you guys can remember, the application, or when the application start, it is referring to the module called app module, which is like the starting point of our application. And within the app module, we have imported, okay, when the app module starts, or app module when the app module is trying to initiate, it is importing what we call a user module. That means when the app module is trying to start, it will also import, or it will also instantiate the user module. Okay, we can have plenty of other modules as well. So if we have a teacher module, then we have to import it with a comma dash comma teacher module. Something we have a school module, we have to import it. So while the app module is instantiating, while the app module is booting up, all these modules will be also booted up. Otherwise, this thing will be left alone. Whatever we have defined in the module would not be recognized by the application. Okay. So not only defining, it would do, you have to register it in the app module. Okay, that is something that you need to do. So we have defined a user module. The user module is here. Then we will define the controllers. Okay, I will define controller for today. I don't think we will be able to do the service and everything by today. I'll just simply define the controller. And I will name a file called user.controller.ts. Okay, we are using TypeScript, by the way. We are not using JavaScript. So beware, do not use JavaScript in this sense. And the thing that we will do is we will create a controller. Okay, it is strikingly similar to a module. We will say export class user controller. Okay, and we within this class, and we will have to annotate this one as, or decorate this one as a controller. Okay, make sure to import that from the NodeJS command one. Make sure to have the parentheses on. Okay, now we have created the controller. But remember, when we create this controller, we need to register this controller within the module itself. If you do not have a controller registered within the corresponding module, the controller will be unknown. So first thing first, I will go to user controller, copy the name, go to user modules. Under modules, we have something called controllers. Okay, it's going to be an array, and import that in here. Okay, so if you want to, if you can just type user controller and hit enter on that, it will automatically do the import for us. If not, if it does not got to import, just click on it, and there will be a blue mark on here, and add import. It will do the importing for you. Okay, so now the user module have reference to the user controller. Okay, so basically when you are creating other things, use the same pattern. So we have a user controller in here. And you guys can remember we created endpoints. So in order to create an endpoint, simply I will create a get endpoint. I will say get user. It's going to be a very simple endpoint. And I will say return. There will be two things that we need to return. That is the response for this. I will simply return a simple JSON, and I will call this message, and I will say users. Okay, and in order to annotate, in order to say this is an get endpoint, we need to have the declaration get. Okay, otherwise this won't be recognized as a get request. So simply what I have done in here is I am creating a controller. Okay, the controller is called something. The controller will be reading something, or will be getting something. That get endpoint will be users, and the things that we're gonna be returning will be this simple JSON. You can have these things in parentheses in braces if you want, and the return will be simply message and user. Okay, so this is gonna be, since this is the app module, and it will go to user module. User will have the controller, and the controller will just simply say users. But remember, everything is prefixes with an API. So if I go to API right now, and it's gonna simply say users. Okay, that is the simplest form of having this. So we create the module, and the module is registered in the import section for the app module. In the user module, we have registered the controllers. I have a user controller. I have registered that in here, and simply if nothing is given, the get endpoint will return this. But say for instance, I want to respond this message or this get request to an endpoint called users. Okay, I simply have to add these into my endpoint. Now, if I refresh this, the endpoint is not found. That means there is no such a thing, because we change it to /users. Now, if we go to users, we get the same message. Okay, so we created an endpoint and prefixed it, and we have given another endpoint for that called users. And if you want to create users user forward slash, let's say user forward slash 1. Okay, get user 1, and I can say user 1, something like this. So now the endpoint for this one is localhost API users forward slash 1. Then we will get this implementation. Now if I go back here and forward slash 1 to this, and you guys can see user 1 is there. Say for instance, I want to give get an endpoint for user 2 in here, and I return 2 in here, and if I put number 2 in here, I'll get user 2. Okay, so the message will be different when we do the things. So we have defined the controller layer. Okay, we haven't defined the service layer right now, but I will not get into service layer as of now, because you guys have a lot of things to catch up. All right, first thing is generate install node, get everything set up, and have this module ready. Okay, get the user module ready, get the app module ready. Make sure I will show you a simple thing. In app module, I forgot to import the user module. Okay, I forgot to do that. Now if I save and if I try to refresh, it is not working. Okay, so the path of debugging is, okay, first I need to go, okay, within the app module, do I have the user module import under imports? No, then I have to do that. And if I go to user module, I forget to add the controller. Even again, it won't work because I have forgot to add the controller to my controller definition. If you do that, then I get these things. And within the controller, I might be going to a URL that is not defined, an endpoint that is not defined in here. Say for instance, in here, and I go file, there is no endpoint. So then you have to check whether you have implemented that endpoint. So all these are read endpoints. So no matter other things won't be covering in here. So we have defined one single layer for today. That is enough. We will have plenty of time to define other service layers and the repository layer. It will get tough. So my recommendation is practice. Okay, you practice these as much as possible. For now, I will have the things for you guys, and let's get this started, and we will go into the next things. Okay, I'll stop sharing and